example, so you got some tables. Okay, table has some columns. Now what is the requirement is that you want to provide access to columns based on user. So some user S1 you should be able to see only few columns. S2 should be able to see only few columns. Then how can you give the security for the columns at the column level? You need to give security at the column level. For this purpose we don't have any command. Okay, so then we have only concept called views, VIEWS. Okay, views. So what is meant by views is that whichever columns you want from this table, you write a query for getting that columns and you'll store that columns under the name. Okay, storing this kind of storing the query is nothing but the view. Okay, whenever you want that query to execute, you will not execute that query. So just you'll execute this view. Automatically whatever the query you have in that view, that query will execute. That's it. Now see, I have a table called here department. We'll go with the department. Okay, so I have a table called with the human resources department. What I want is that for some users, I want to have the department ID and name to be displayed. For some users, I want to have everything like except modified date. I want the department ID, name, and group name to give access. Like for some users, they should not see the group name. For some users, they should be able to see only department ID, name, and group name. They should not be able to see modified date. How you are going to do? For this, what we do is that generally for this, as I said, you'll be writing a query to get that columns. Okay, first thing you'll write a query. So what I'll do, I'll write a query, select star from, or else I'll just copy the about query and paste it below by removing some columns. Okay, this is their query, right? So I'll take, because for the first user I want to display only ID and name. Okay, that's it. So first I'll write a query to get that result. So I got this. Now what I'll do, I'll store that query under one name. I'll store that query under one name. That's it. So what is that syntax is create view and the view name. So generally what we do is that whenever you create something, right? Okay, let's say if I call this, if I call this way, select star from sys dot objects. When I call this, what happens? I am going to get all different types of names. This names includes procedure name. You can see some table names. You can see view name. All names will be there here. So in this, how can you differentiate which one is which and which one is this? You can differentiate by type, but without seeing this, how to differentiate? Okay, the only way you can do is that by giving some standard naming convention. If it is a view, always start with view. So wherever you see some name which is having like VW, if you have some standard, like for all the views you will be naming as VW, then wherever you see the name starting with VW, then you can say it is a view. That's it. Okay, you need to have the standard. So all the companies will follow the standards. Create view, and I'll name it as view VW underscore DEPT1. Okay, as I'll give the as. After that I'll write a query. Done. That's it. Sorry, after that I'll write a go, execute it. Now a view is created. So whichever user wants to see only that columns, I'll give user this view name. And sorry, again I will create it in the master database, so I'll drop it. I'll point to other different database and I'll create it. Okay, so I'll connect this to test. Now I'll execute it. Now I got the view. Okay, in the test environment. So if I want to call this view, by default you can use all the query. So if you want, you will be writing select query, right, from my table. You can use that query to get a view, to get the data from you. So just I'll write select star from VW underscore DEPT1. That's it. When I do this, when I execute this, whatever the output I got from this query, the same output I'll be getting now. That's it. Okay, now if you want to filter, you can filter where it acts same as a table only. It acts same as a table only. That's it. Department ID. Department ID equal to 12. Now I'll be getting the record which has ID 2. So that's it. It acts same as a table. You can do whatever, you can write any type of select query. You can use aggregate functions on this. You can use like where classes. Okay, so you can do most of stuff, not as a table, but you will have some restrictions. But whatever you do, like select queries on the table, everything you can do on the view. You can filter the view. Okay, so now when I do this, I'll get only the records column names that are required by the user. I'll not be getting the other column name that user doesn't need. Okay, so this is the way how you are going to provide security to the table by using view. Suppose if you want to add some other column, just go ahead and you will have some other columns. Or else if you have some big query which is joining some 10 to 20 tables, and if you want to execute that query, and if you want to filter data on that query, so what you do, generally you will copy that query, you will store that query under the object name, object type called view. Okay, this is the object type is view, and you'll give some name, and under name you'll store that query. So tomorrow or day after tomorrow, whenever you want to see the output of the query, just you take this view and run a select query. That's it. Automatically you'll be getting the data. So whatever the query is there in the view, you will be getting the data for that query. So everyone is clear with this? So now based on this, here see, this is a view. You can also join other table in the view. You can join another table, but inside the view you can have only select query. That's it. Inside the view you can have only select query. You can't have update query, you can't have insert queries. So if you want to write any queries and create a view for that, that only is applicable for the queries that is having select. So in the view you can have only one query. You can't have other query like this. Select star from some table, temp. You can't have this. You should have always have only one query in the view. Okay, see, it's throwing an error because why? Because view cannot have two. That's it. View cannot have two select. It can have only one select. That's it. Okay, and apart from that, you can have any joins. If you want to join some table, yes, you can join. You can join here, inner join or whatever join you want. You can type just join, and you can have that in the view. Okay. But view will not have any updates, view will not have any deletes, view will not have any other commands except select in that view. And one more thing, you can use aggregate also in the view, but you can't use the order by in the view. If I want to do order by ID, okay, because when I call this, right, when I call this the view, I'm getting the IDs, but it is not in order by, but I want to get that IDs in order by. So first I'll write order by department ID. Okay, order by department ID. So I'll just select this query. Done. I got, so now they are in the sorted. Now I'll try to execute this view again. It will not execute because the view is already there. Okay, view is already there. And one more thing, it is saying that because order by class cannot be used in the view, but you can use the order by when you have the top 100 function. If you have top 100 listed, then yes, you can have the order by here. Now see, I'll create a view. By default the view is already there, right? So just I'll alter it. That's it. Now the view will execute and I can get the data, sorted data. When I select it, automatically I'll be getting the sorted data now. Okay, so what is meant by top 100? Top 100 is nothing but select star. You did the select star. Select, what is meant by select star? You are getting all the records. Out of that output, you can get only few records. That is nothing but top 100. That's it. When I do top 100, I'll get only the records which are top 100. Now, instead of the 100, what I'll do is I'll just give select top 1. Then I'll get the top first record. That's it. Whichever record I'm getting first one, that record will be displayed here. See, when I do the bottom, that's there is nothing, right? So it's throwing an error. Okay, so you based on this you can select the top. When you have the top, then only you will be having an order function in the view. So then only you can use the order by class. If you don't have top, you can't use. Okay, this is a view. Now the views are of different types. Okay, basically when you see the view, now you have seen only the basic view. Okay, but views are categorized into three types. The first one is a standard view. Okay, next is the indexed view or materialized view, both are same. Then you got one more called partition view. Partition view is again divided into two types. One is a local and other one is a distributed. Okay, so out of this, most common views you will be using is a standard view and most common views you will be using is a partition view. That's it. Very rarely you will be using next view. Okay, I'll explain you what is meant by that. So you have three types of view: standard view, index view, partition view. So index view is you can call index view as a materialized view, both are same. At the same time, partition view is divided into two types, that is the local and distributed. Okay, so now I forgot to explain one of the important concept of the view. So now what is meant by view? You have a table, right? This is a table. You have data in the table. ID name, you have some data, you have some data. That is when you have the view. View is nothing but you write some query and store it. So when you call the view, it will go to the table, execute that query, and that results will be displayed. So by this, what is meant by that means view will never store a data. View will never store data. Okay, it will only, what the purpose of the view is that whatever query you will write, it will go execute that query and whatever results you get, it will display on the window. That's it. It will not store any data, unlike the table. Table will store the data, but view is not like. Okay, when you call select star from table name, automatically table will go into that, it will get the data directly because its table stores the data. But whereas view, it will not store. It will just have the reference for the table. That's it. So everyone is clear with this point? Hello? So now, the first view, standard view. The above view which we have created, right, it is nothing but the standard view. I'll just remove the order by. The above query that we have written, it is nothing but the standard view. That's it. Simple. What is a index view? I'll cover later on. Okay. What is a partition view? Partition view, they are of two types: local and distributed partition. So let's say in that view, if I want to join with some query and some table, join table table 1. Okay, join table 1 on some condition. On some condition I have given that. Okay, now here, if this table is on the same database, same server where I am having that, this is my server, right? So database name. Okay, if this database, if the table which I am calling in the view, if they are from the same server but different databases, or else if it is from the same server, I might be using multiple tables where I am pulling all the tables from the same server, then it is nothing but the local partition view. If I am joining on the tables in the query which I have written in the view, in that query, if I am joining multiple tables from different servers, then that kind of view is nothing but the distributed view. Are you able to get my point? Okay, so now that is a distributed view. Then what is by materialized view? So what did I say about the view? View will never store data. View will never store data. It only references the query to a table where whenever you will call the view, that query will execute on the table and you will get the data displayed. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So in this scenario, what we are going to do is that, Kranti, can you wait for 1 minute? Okay, I'll cover this materialized view. So now in the view, it is nothing but the reference to a table. So view will never store a data. But in the view, if you have some big queries, some queries which will get pull the data from some 20 tables, let's say, then okay, then what I'm going to do here is that, okay, Kranti, she left because of the restart, system restart. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that on these tables, on the, because I have this all the 20 table joins in the view, then what I'll do, I'll create an index on that view. Then that is nothing but the materialized view. Creating index on the view is nothing but the materialized view, or you will also call as indexed view. Both are same. So creating index on the view is nothing but the materialized view, and other one is that like you can also call it as the indexed view. That's it. So everyone is clear with this? Yeah, until then you can revise. I'll wait for Kranti. So once you join, then we can start the other topics. Okay. Until then you can revise these views. There are three types: standard view, partition view, and partition view is in turn divided into two types. That is local and distributed, and other one is the indexed view. Okay. Revise it, and we'll back on Kranti is here.